Yeah, so that's how I first started out, or my first uh, acquaintance with my brother, and also my first visit to the orphanage. I think it was about a weekend later where the lady from the Children's Aid phoned and said, how would I like to spend a weekend in the orphanage with my brother? And of course, I thought that was going to be a fantastic weekend because what happened is, I knew that there was a pool there and there was a slide and there was kids there, and I really didn't know what an orphanage was. So, of course, I said, yeah. So, anyway, I went down to the orphanage on the weekend and spent some time with my brother, got to know some of the kids there, and that was all fine and dandy. Yeah, so that was fine. I had a good time, and time the weekend was over, I went back to Oak Street. Anyway, the way it worked out is I was starting to go to the orphanage every weekend, and then coming home, and then at some point it ended up that I was spending the full week in the orphanage and coming home to Oak Street on the weekends. So that sort of caught my attention. But just another little piece of information. There is right at the very front on the left-hand side, that small window you see there in the picture is a small room. And some of the children used to call that the horror room. And I did spend, I think, about maybe a week in that room. But really, it was supposed to be an isolation room. However, is when they put you in there, it was locked. It was pitch black. There was no way to go to the bathroom. And but it was really a room to make sure you didn't have lice or you didn't have any kind of disease. So I did spend, maybe a week in there, got sorted out, and then finally I was able to go up to the third floor, which is what we used to refer to as the dormitory. And in that dormitory were just a whole group of beds. And of course all the boys were in there. And one of the stories that I can recall about that room was my brother had got a Popular Mechanics magazine, and he found the drawing for a crystal radio. So we were able to somehow get the parts together for the crystal radio. I think in some cases we actually, when we had a chance to get out, we somehow were able to either order those parts or we stole a lot of them. I know we picked up a headset that they used to use during the war. So we got that radio going. We used to at night throw the antenna out that top window, and we would just listen to the radio. Everybody would get out of their beds and that kind of thing. So kind of a little interesting story with regard to my brother, his ability to make things.